For my 30th birthday, I rented a coastal cabin, stocked the fridge, and invited my family. No one showed. 2 days later, my brother posted, "Beach retreat with the best people at a resort 2 hours away." I didn't argue. I just stopped paying mom's utilities, dad's franchise loan, and pulled out of the business I'd set up for him. That night, mom texted, "Everything okay?" I replied, "Yeah, I finally got it." The thing about being dependable is, after a while, people stop seeing you. They just assume you'll show up, that you'll take care of it, that you're fine. And maybe you are for a while. My name is Dorian Fields. I'm 30 years old, live in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm a maintenance engineer for the city. It's not glamorous work, but it's honest. I'm the guy who shows up when a pipe bursts or when a heating system dies in the middle of a cold snap. I fix things. That's what I do. Growing up, there was always a certain rhythm to our family, and that rhythm was named Marcus, my older brother. For years my senior, 6 inches taller, and apparently twice as charming. Marcus could light up a room, throw a football, talk his way out of anything. He was the kind of person who got standing ovations for average things, while I got shoulder pats for exceptional ones, if I was lucky. Marcus became a fitness influencer straight out of college, built a brand around his abs and protein shakes, picked up a few brand sponsorships, and boom, celebrity, at least in our little corner of the internet. My parents? They were ecstatic. My mom would scroll through his posts on her phone, gushing about his latest gym video. My dad hung one of Marcus's fitness posters in his office like it was a college diploma. Me? I got mentioned when something broke. "Oh, thank God for Dorian," Mom would say. "We couldn't have fixed the porch without him." That was it. No Instagram posts. No framed photos. Just, "Thanks." But what they never said out loud was how much I gave them. And I mean gave. When Marcus wanted to renovate his gym last year, he came to me with wide eyes and a flimsy business plan. I didn't ask questions. I wrote a check for $15,000. Said it was a loan, but deep down, I knew it was a gift. Just like the time I covered half of Dad's failed Wing King franchise buy-in. Or the utilities, I've been quietly sending Mom $400 a month for the past 3 years so she can keep the lights on without asking Dad to skip his golf fees. I never complained. Not really. I just kept showing up. Because I thought, maybe one day they'll notice. Maybe one day, I won't just be the safety net. Maybe I'll be the son they brag about. But I'm starting to feel like a ghost in my own family. Always there, never seen. Every holiday, Marcus shows up late with some new influencer girlfriend and gets the seat of honor, while I'm the one who cleaned the gutters that morning or fixed the leak in the kitchen. I could vanish, and they'd just assume I was out running errands. Still, I told myself that it was okay, that this was just how families work, that being needed is its own kind of love. But I was wrong, and it took one empty birthday cabin to finally make me see it. I didn't ask for much. Not really. But when I turned 30, I thought, maybe this year could be different. Maybe if I made it special, planned it all out, gave them every reason to show up, they finally would. I found this little place near the coast, a tower drive from Asheville. A secluded cabin with a wraparound porch and a view of the ocean that looked like it belonged on a postcard. I rented it for the whole weekend. Sent out invitations weeks in advance, Mom, Dad, Marcus. I even offered to cover the gas and transportation. Just bring yourselves. That's all I asked. I stocked the fridge with all their favorites. Dad's peach iced tea, Mom's vanilla bean yogurt, Marcus's stupid protein bars. Spent the afternoon prepping a simple dinner, grilled salmon, mashed sweet potatoes, a salad just the way Mom likes it, with cranberries and candied pecans. The table was set by 5. By 6, I still hadn't heard a word. At 7, I texted the group. "Hey, everything's ready. Let me know if y'all are close." No reply. By 8, the food was cold, the candles had burned halfway down, and the only sound was the tide rolling in below the porch. I kept checking my phone, kept refreshing the screen like maybe the messages were stuck somewhere. Maybe the signal was bad. By 9, I gave up, took my plate outside and sat on the porch alone. Ate in silence, watching the wind dance with the trees and listening to the creak of the old wood under my chair. The ocean was beautiful, but it didn't fill the seat across from me. I tried not to let it get to me. Told myself something must have come up. A flat tire. An emergency. Anything. But I knew better. I slept on the couch that night, phone on my chest, still clinging to hope. The next morning, I made coffee, reheated the sweet potatoes, and sat back out on the porch. The silence felt heavier, like it was pressing down on me. Then I opened Instagram. Marcus had posted a story, a panoramic shot of a luxury beach resort 2 hours south. White sand, palm trees, mimosas on a balcony. The next slide? A boomerang of my parents laughing with him over brunch. My dad wore that awful blue polo he saves for vacations. My mom had her arm looped through Marcus's like they were the stars of a Hallmark movie. The timestamp? Yesterday afternoon. The same time I was lighting candles and laying out their favorite plates. No one had called. Not a text. Not even a lie. Just silence. And a perfect beach photo without me. I sat there, phone in hand, heart tight in my chest, and realized something I probably should have accepted years ago. They didn't forget me. They chose him. Again. And that was the moment I stopped waiting. I didn't yell. Didn't write some dramatic text or call to confront them. I didn't even ask why. I just stopped. On the drive back from the cabin, I didn't turn on music or call anyone. I just listened to the hum of the tires and the occasional rattle of the passenger seat, where the birthday cake still sat in its box, untouched, barely dented. The moment I walked into my apartment, I opened my laptop and pulled up my banking apps. I had every account bookmarked. First, I removed myself from Marcus's business credit line. 2 years ago, he'd begged me to co-sign for a gym equipment upgrade. Just for the paperwork, he'd said. They won't even touch your credit. Liar. He'd maxed it twice. I'd covered it twice. Not anymore. I submitted a form online to revoke my authorization and scheduled a call with the bank to confirm it. Next was Dad's franchise loan. He defaulted once last year. I'd stepped in and caught it up before it went into collections. Now, I canceled the auto debit and flagged the account for manual review. He'd get the late notices soon enough. Then Mom. Every month, like clockwork, I sent her $400 to help with utilities. She never asked. I just did it. Started it quietly when I realized the power had gone out during a family dinner 2 Christmases ago, and she said it was just a glitch. I canceled the recurring payment. No fanfare. No announcement. Just silence. By that evening, the first message came in, Mom. Hey, sweetheart. I think something's wrong with the power bill. It didn't go through this month. Mind checking. I didn't reply. Then Dad. You stopped the auto debit? Bank just called. What's going on? Again, I said nothing. Then Marcus, classic Marcus. Yo bro, Jim's account hit a wall. Did you move something around? Let me know ASAP. Need to order new cables. I just stared at the screen. Watched the bubbles appear. Then disappear. An hour later. Seriously, what's up? Still nothing. For the first time in years, I didn't offer a solution. I didn't jump in to fix it. I let the consequences breathe. And it felt quiet. Not peaceful, not yet. But quiet. Like I had finally let go of a rope I'd been gripping for too long. And now I was just waiting to see who noticed it slipping away. By the end of the week, the text had changed. Mom stopped asking nicely. I don't know what's going on, Dorian, but this is unlike you. The water bill is overdue. We're going to get shut off. Dad sent one. If you're mad, just say it. Don't play games. Marcus, of course, stayed true to form. You're really making a big deal out of nothing, man. What's your endgame here? You're hurting the family over a weekend? I didn't respond. Not a single word. But that Friday night, I broke the silence. Marcus texted again, casually, like we were still buddies. Still waiting on a call, dude. Don't ghost me. I get it. The birthday sucked. You didn't need to go nuclear. I sat on my couch, phone glowing in my hand, thumb hovering. For a second, I almost deleted it like the others. But then I started typing. You want to talk about nuclear? Let's talk. And I did. I typed out every financial favor I had done over the last 10 years. In clear numbers. Plain language. No emotion. $5,000 toward your gym flooring. $3,200 to cover the broken lease you walked away from. $1,400 in last-minute rent when your influencer deal fell through. 2 maxed-out credit card payments in my name. 3 bailouts on your gym line of credit. Countless, spot me till next week, Venmos I never saw again. And then the part that hit hardest. Every single month, I sent money to Mom so the heat didn't get turned off. You never asked why the light stayed on. You never noticed. I hit send. No angry punctuation. No emojis. Just facts. Then I waited. 3 dots. Typing. Stopped. Again. Typing. Stopped. Nothing. No response. Just stillness. And that's when I knew. It wasn't that he didn't believe me. It was that he didn't care until the money disappeared. Now that the flow had stopped, he was scrambling. But for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty for letting him flail. I stared at the last message on the screen and whispered the words out loud. You never noticed. They'd said a lot about me over the years. Called me quiet. Said I was too sensitive. Said I took things too personally. But never, not once, had they said thank you. And suddenly, the silence wasn't punishment. It was power. It was a slow Sunday morning when I remembered the business. Dad had this dream once, starting a logistics company. Fields Freight, he called it. Had a whole pitch about moving packages better than FedEx. All talk, no plan. He came to me 5 years ago with a folder full of poorly formatted documents and a desperate grin. Just need a little help getting registered, he'd said. You can be co-owner on paper. For taxes. For licensing. Just a formality. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I signed the papers. Paid the registration fee. Even drove him to the courthouse to file it. That was the last I ever heard about Fields Freight. Until now. Something about the silence this past week made me wonder, was it really as dead as I thought? I logged into the Secretary of State's website, punched in the business name, and there it was. Status, active. Filed under, Dorian Fields, owner, Richard Fields, managing partner. And listed right there, updated just 6 months ago, was a loan agreement, $22,000 secured by Fields Freight, LLC. My name was still on it. My stomach dropped. I clicked through to the lender. It was a mid-sized credit union in Raleigh. Loan signed electronically. My dad's signature was there. But mine? Forged. Not even well. He'd used a different middle initial. I sat back in my chair, eyes unfocused. So that was it. They didn't just overlook me. They used me. And not just emotionally or financially. Legally. I called the credit union. Sat on hold for 30 minutes. Finally spoke to a loan officer who sounded too young to be handling this mess. But she was polite. Patient. I explained everything. The business was inactive. I hadn't signed anything. I had no knowledge of the loan. We'll need an affidavit, she said. And your signature removal form. Once we receive that, we'll freeze the account and escalate it to fraud review. It took me an hour to gather all the paperwork. I notarized the affidavit, signed the removal form, and sent it in. I also submitted a formal withdrawal of ownership with the state. By the afternoon, I was no longer legally tied to Fields Freight. An hour later, Dad texted. What did you do? No greeting. No explanation. Just that. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't reply, but I could picture him, sitting in his den, probably still in that ratty recliner with a cigar tray beside him, staring at his phone like it betrayed him. He'd probably just found out the account was frozen, that he couldn't pull from it anymore, that the illusion of control was gone. That was the last thread, the one they thought I'd never tug on. But I did. And now, everything they built on my back was starting to come apart. It was a Tuesday, late afternoon. I had just gotten home from a job site, spent the day crawling under a broken municipal boiler, soaked to my elbows in rust water. All I wanted was a shower and maybe a beer. But when I pulled into my driveway, there he was. Marcus, standing on my porch, wearing one of those fitted polo shirts with his gym's logo stitched above the heart. The one he wore in all his promotional videos. He had a manila folder tucked under one arm and sunglasses pushed up on his head like a guy who wanted to look casual but didn't feel it. Hey, he said, the second I got out of the truck. I shut the door slowly. What do you want? He let out a breath, tried to smile. Can we talk? I didn't move. You've got about 2 minutes before I go inside. He nodded, stepping toward me and holding out the folder. It's the loan stuff? The gym line. It's defaulted. I need help. I looked at the folder. Didn't take it. Help, I repeated. Like the kind you give people you care about? Or the kind you expect from the idiot you never appreciated? His jaw tightened. He opened his mouth to say something, then stopped. Looked down at the folder instead. I didn't come to fight, he said. I'm in trouble. They're threatening to take the equipment. I can't lose the gym, Dorian. It's all I have. I crossed my arms. And what do you think I am? The family safety net. He shifted. Uncomfortable. Look, I didn't realize. No, I cut him off. Don't do that. Don't pretend this is about a misunderstanding. You didn't forget what I've done. You ignored it. He swallowed hard. I didn't know you felt that way. That's the problem, I said, voice low. You never asked. The wind moved through the trees above us. A quiet, aching pause stretched between us. I thought I was helping the family, I said finally. Not just funding your ego. He glanced down again, voice barely a whisper. I didn't mean to make you feel invisible. You didn't make me feel anything, I said. You just made me realize what I was to all of you. I turned toward the door. Wait, he said, desperation creeping into his voice. Can't we fix this? I looked over my shoulder. Fix what? The fact that I gave everything and got nothing? The fact that you only came when you needed money? He didn't answer. You need to figure it out on your own now, I said. Because I'm done. Then I went inside. Closed the door. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty for doing it. It started with a Zillow alert. I hadn't even been looking, just scrolling through news on my phone when I saw the familiar address. My parents' house. The one I grew up in. The one they had sworn they'd never leave. Status. Foreclosure. I stared at the screen for a while, not really surprised. After I pulled the plug on the bills and loan payments, it was only a matter of time. Still, something about seeing it official, public, gave me pause. They hadn't reached out. Not directly, anyway. But I could feel the fallout in the silence. A week later, Dad's car disappeared from the driveway. The silver Lexus I helped co-sign for 3 years ago. I knew the repo guy would come for it eventually. It was registered in both our names. When the towing notice hit my mailbox, I smiled, signed off on it, and mailed it back. The dominoes kept falling. Marcus, once the untouchable center of attention, had moved back in with them, at least, temporarily. I knew this because I still had access to our old shared Netflix account. One night I logged in out of habit and saw a new profile labeled Home Base. Pathetic. I never thought the house could feel small, but within weeks, the walls had closed in on them. 3 adults under one roof with no money, no help, and too much resentment to fake harmony. By the end of the month, Mom's utilities had been shut off again. I saw the same old friends of hers posting online about how hard times come for all of us. They didn't mention me. Not once. Not publicly. I waited for the messages. The apologies. The explanations. They never came. What had come was peace. I booked another weekend at the same coastal cabin for my birthday, the one they all stood me up for. Same porch. Same ocean. Same path through the woods behind the property where I used to pretend I could just walk away from everything. This time, I didn't set the table. I didn't prep dinner or light candles or check my phone. I grilled for one. Read an old paperback I found in a thrift shop. Watch the tide roll in. And for the first time in years, I let the silence stay. No notifications. No last-minute asks. No guilt. Just quiet. That night, I stood on the porch with a beer in hand and listened to the waves. Let the breeze wrap around me. I thought about the years I gave to people who never said thank you. The money, the favors, the holidays spent fixing broken pipes instead of making memories. And then I thought about how none of them were here. Not one. And for once, I didn't feel angry. I felt free. The letter came in a plain white envelope with no return address. I almost threw it out with the junk mail. Credit card offers, grocery coupons, some magazine I never subscribed to. But something about the handwriting stopped me. Neat, slanted cursive I hadn't seen in years. It was my mother's. I sat at the kitchen table, just staring at it. I didn't open it right away. I made coffee, washed a dish I didn't need to, fed the neighbor's cat that sometimes wandered over to my porch. Then I came back, slid my thumb under the flap, and pulled out a single sheet of lined paper. Folded once. No, dear Dorian. No dramatic opening. Just her handwriting, raw and unsure. I know I have no right to ask for anything, but I want to say something I should have said years ago. I'm sorry. I didn't see what you did until it stopped. I didn't see how much we relied on you, not just for the bills, or the groceries, or the loans, but for everything. For holding it all together. I let Marcus take center stage, and I let your father believe that was normal. I let you shrink so we could stay comfortable. And now we're not comfortable anymore. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect an answer. I just hope one day we can talk again. Love. Mom. That was it. No begging. No excuses. Just a quiet, overdue truth. I read it 3 times. Once with anger in my chest. Once with confusion. And once with something close to sadness. Then I folded it back up and placed it in the drawer beside my stove, the one where I keep things I don't want to forget, but don't want to look at either. I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just sat there for a while, feeling something unfamiliar. Control. Not power, not revenge, not smugness. Just choice. For the first time, I didn't owe anyone a reaction. Not a text. Not a visit. Not even forgiveness. The door was cracked open, but whether I walked through it or when, I got to decide. That night, I made dinner for one. Put on some music, sat on the porch and watched the sky go from gold to blue to black. And when the stars came out, I leaned back in my chair, held the quiet like it belonged to me, and thought, maybe one day, but not today. Today I rest.